What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And yeah, just when you think like things are going positive at Stellantis, they get worse. And today we're talking about worse in California specifically. I think Carlos Tavares might go down in history as the worst CEO of not even just auto companies, but just companies, period. Roll the intro. So this is breaking over at Detroit News, and I also saw this. Shout out to Brian over there at UAW Real Talk on Facebook. If you're in the auto industry or member of the UAW and you don't follow that page, you're missing out. Go do it. But he posted this over there. Stellantis is still on the hook for California EV rules. Make it make sense. Despite relief for competitors. So, for example, General Motors, Ford, they don't have to deal with that BS. But Stellantis will. Washington. Even after lawmakers and President Donald Trump canceled California's strictest in the nation automotive emission standards, Stellantis NV remains on the hook for electrical vehicle sales requirements that will be difficult to meet, especially because nobody wants to buy that shit. That's because the transatlantic automaker signed a settlement agreement in 2024 promising to comply with future Golden State policies regardless of any judicial or federal action, preventing its latest rules from taking effect. Under former CEO and scumbag Carlos Tavares, Stellantis entered into a settlement agreement over vehicle emissions with California in March of 2024. The deal, inked under the embattled former CEO and dumbass, was made in exchange for California forgiving past regulatory compliance shortfalls and helped to avoid potentially lengthy litigation between the two sides. But now, the company behind Jeep, Dodge, and Ram brands, long known for their brawny, gas-guzzling offerings, will need to hit aggressive state milestones requiring more than half of the new vehicles sold by model year 2028 to be electric. That's 2 years away. That figure rises to 68% by 2030, the final year of the settlement agreement. That's a tall order for any legacy automaker, and especially for EV light Stellantis, as it delays some of its electric offerings amid waning demand. It's not waning, it was never there. It just sucks. Nobody wants any of that EV garbage that's being produced or built by Stellantis. Sorry. It also comes just as the car makers' competition appears set to face looser regulations in the nation's largest new vehicle market. Both Stellantis and the California Air Resource Board said in emails to the Detroit News that they would abide by last year's settlement, said company spokesman Jody Tinson. Stellantis continues to honor its agreement with CARB. I have to say this right now, like CARB can eat the biggest dick ever. Like they're going to be insolvent by January. They have no money. They're not getting any federal money. And I feel like the president could make this fixed quickly. Now, I'm wondering, remember I said Stellantis had a huge announcement or whatever that was on June 18th? I'm wondering if it has something to do with this, getting by this BS from California. Maybe it could. They said it's a monumental change, but not a product or service. So, CARB spokesman and dumbass John Swanton provided a similar response. Yes, the agreement remains in place and we fully expect Stellantis to comply. He added that CARB has been in normal contact with the company since Congress acted in May to revoke California's permission to enforce its latest set of regulations. Now, I'll get into that in a second, but I just want to say, like, I feel like the president and the government have an avenue here to say California, regardless of their bullshit civil settlement, they have an avenue here to say California is violating federal law by making Stellantis do that. And they could penalize and fine the state of California, or maybe even criminally charge some people over enforcing this rule. Congress just said you can't do that. It's over. Once Congress does that, and I understand that they signed a settlement that says regardless of any judicial or federal action, it doesn't matter. If it's illegal, it's illegal, right? I don't get it. Those regulations, known as Advanced Clean Cars 2, would have required automakers in California and participating states to achieve 100% zero vehicle emissions sales for new models by 2035. The standards defined ZEVs as fully electric vehicles or hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, which remain a barely available technology. I did see a couple of them when I was in Orange County, and they were like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to drive around in technology that basically destroyed a big section of Japan. I'm good on that. You know, if you get rear-ended, does it pinto? Does it boom? I don't know. I'm not interested in hydrogen, to be honest. The auto industry successfully lobbied against those standards. On Thursday, President Trump signed legislation blocking the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency waivers that let California set several of its own influential emission policies. The deal, but Stellantis, according to its agreement with California, is still subject to the rules through the 2030 model year. That means the company will need to quickly boost its electric offerings in a key state representing 13% of the U.S. auto market. Or we're going to hit the David Chappelle, you could tell Gavin Newsom to shut the fuck up. You could say, absolutely not. The government has already said we're not doing this, and we're not doing it. Take us to court. Kiss our ass. We need, and this is why, like, I feel like we absolutely need like a John Ledger type of CEO, a CEO that doesn't care what is said, who, you know, like just goes in and is company first and does things that are pro-consumer but pro-company and build the brand like he did with T-Mobile. We need somebody like that. I'm hoping Antonio Filosa is that guy. I'm hoping. We'll see. Or sell less gas vehicles in California. And when the citizenry, you know, I mean, I get it. It's 13% of the market. But are you going to build more EVs that cost more money? You lose money on every single electric vehicle. Why? Why would you build those? I would just take the 13% hit for a few years and just not sell as many vehicles in California. And when people get pissed, guess what? Buy it and do like Tesla did with Texas. Title the damn vehicle in Arizona, set up a system, and then ship them to California if customers want to buy them, right? I know you have big, massive dealer networks, AutoNation, Lithia, and the list goes on, that can figure out a workaround to get around that BS with California. The idea that Stellantis will have enough EVs on the market by 2030 to reach that level is a problem because the company itself has redirected its products according to market conditions that say EVs suck and nobody wants them. Now, before someone gets in my comments, because this might be the first video they've ever seen from my channel, oh, he's just an EV hater. We're giving away a Tesla on this channel. I have a Cybertruck. I had a BMW i4 lease that we just returned. I have the i3 BMW. I leased the i8. I mean, I've had multiple. I had a Fisker, Karma. I've had so many friggin' EVs. Miss me with that shit. And yeah, Sam Fiorani, hopefully I said that right, vice president of research firm Auto Forecast Solutions, said that, you know, they won't have enough vehicles. And so they'll have fewer EVs out there, he added. So will everybody else. Last year, Stellantis only offered one fully electric model in the US, and that was the Fiat 500e. You could get that car almost free on lease in Colorado. And it only sold 531 of them nationwide. At the start of the year, it began selling two more EVs, the Jeep Wagoneer S, trash, and the Dodge Charger Daytona, trash. But those additions only brought the automaker's totally fully electric sales to about 5,000 for the first quarter, less than 2% of its overall sales, because nobody wants that shit. The California standards include a partial allowance for plug-in hybrid models, and Stellantis sells a lot of them, more than 103,000 nationwide in 2024, but that still only makes up less than 8% of total sales for the year. Now, that is how if they can get around with doing plug-in hybrid models, sell a ton of 4xEs, sell all your 4xEs in California because nobody else wants them, unless they're custom ordering them suckers in another state. Sell all the 4xE crap in California. Make California have all that crap. Stellantis agreed to the deal in the first place because it was struggling to comply with California's prior emission requirements. The company said it was at a competitive disadvantage because the state had previously cut more flexible deals with 5 other automakers, with Ford, BMW, Honda, Volkswagen, and Volvo. Stellantis argued at the time in a petition filed against CARB that it had been excluded from seeking a similar agreement. It also stated that the state's stricter requirements would contribute to layoffs at 2 major plants in Detroit and Toledo, which it did. The two parties eventually reached the settlement, which included the company's commitment to cut more than 10 million additional tons of greenhouse gas emissions through 2026, hitting the state's increasingly ambitious EV milestones until 2030, participating in various EV awareness campaigns, and spending $10 million to install public chargers in parks. The automaker agreed not to challenge or seek to undermine the agreement. The deal essentially helped Stellantis get a more favorable short-term compliance path in California, similar to the 5 other automakers who reached framework agreements several years earlier. So basically they got a short-term great deal, but now they're in an awkward situation. Look, I would just say, and top comment I read on the UA, Carlos Tavares is still fucking Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and its workers. It's true. This is such a massive friggin' disaster right now for Stellantis. And I'm hoping that the thing, and I know because I know Tim or his age or somebody watches my channel. When I did get that message, I was told I'm going to really like what happens. And we all know that I hate emission standards. I can't stand California. I can't stand the California Air Resource Board. I think they can all go. But that said, it would be awesome if Stellantis has worked out some kind of deal. We hear about that on the 18th, where they don't have to follow that. Being that this story broke today, and they've got statements from CARB and Stellantis, though, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm still mystified at what this announcement's going to be in 2 days. This doesn't bode good for Stellantis, but I would just say this. Before you guys that are workers, the UAW workers, are worried about this EV crap in California, think about it like this. Yes, it will bring down some production, right? But if Filosa navigates this the right way, let's say they have to honor this stupid agreement, just sell less cars in California. Yes, I know, that's 13% less cars. You can make that up in other areas of the country in the market now that you have the Hemi back. You start Hemi-ing Gladiators like you're supposed to do with the 5.7. We know the 6.4 is coming to the Gladiator. Screw California. Let the people in California get so mad at the government and the bullshit agencies that it flips that state. Simple. I know it sucks because of the 13% loss in sales between now and 2030, right? 5 years. It's 5 years. Goes by like this. I would not be trying to pump out a ton of EVs to meet whatever the hell's going on with California. It doesn't make financial sense. The company, it's going to cost more jobs to the UAW and to the workers if they try to comply with this shit than if they just buck the system. Especially if they have a way around it. If you can sell 4xEs, I would make it, you can't buy a 4xE in 49 other states. You only can buy them in California. Like, and if you want one, you have to order it, right? Like if you're in like Texas or somewhere else, you have to order a 4xE. You do that, I think you have something there. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. It's birthday time. I forgot if I put my palm up that the camera stops. It's birthday time for me. So not a ton of videos over the next 2 days. You probably get, I mean, I say not a ton of videos and I still will put out 2 or 3, but not like the normal 4, 5, 6 videos we put out. So I have a couple of videos in queue. I saw this. I needed to get up with this, screen here in the virtual studio and get this video out to you guys. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are they going to buck the system or are they going to try to comply? I hope they buck the system. I hope they bust California's ass. But that's just me. We do still have the Tesla Model S giveaway going down on the channel right now with 10 times entries. There is a product that's in there. If you go back a couple videos, you'll see a thumbnail with the Tesla. There's a link directly to that specific product. I have been told that they may do that with other stuff on the site, the sweepstakes company that's running this for us. We have a dedicated video dropping on that as well. So stay tuned for that. But that's going to do it for me. What a way to start the week to see Stellantis is still being screwed. Oh, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what we do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends. Whoopee!